Hello, you moron! You need to ditch the real meat you're eating and all the negative side effects it carries of strength and vitality and start eating fake meat, just like the world's elites want you to. And you can trust them because they look healthy, don't they? Good evening and welcome to our special report on fake meat. Nothing gives you faker health than fake meat, so who better to sell you on the idea than the fake news? We'll be answering all the who, what, when, where, and whys of fake meat. Some of it will surprise you. And just so you can be most vulnerable to our hypnotic programming, we first need to get you into a fear response. So just remember, pain, suffering, and definitely death is what will happen to you if you do not obey. Scared? Good. Now let's get started on the why. Why is it important for you to stop eating meat that's made out of meat and start eating coagulated junk food made out of plants like Beyond Meat and Impossible Burger? Well, first off, nothing contributes to the murder of the climate quite like meat does. The latest science reveals that meat beings called cows apparently have a very vengeful attitude toward the climate, wanting to completely murder it. And then we'll all be underwater like we already told you you would be at this point. To help you understand how meat is causing the climate catastrophe, let's break it down with the science. You see, scientists have used science-y equations to conclude that meat plus the environment, multiplied by Greta yelling, carry the Al Gore squared equals disaster. But if we can divide by the World Economic Forum, subtract the meat, multiply by fake meat, and solve for who owns the companies, we'll all be saved. Science. And aside from the scientific fact that meat will provoke the climate into killing you, why else should you be persuaded into abandoning it? Well, do you remember the very accurate propaganda from decades ago that meat and its saturated fat content is bad for your heart? Make you die suddenly? Nope, that's something else. We're talking about good old-fashioned heart disease that you die slowly from. Call me nostalgic, but I miss those days. Well, believe it or not, it's been uncovered that with a decades-old propaganda, the sugar industry funded those studies in order to frame saturated fat to look like the heart killer, so the sugar industry's cardiovascular damaging product and their heart-healthy profits could fly under the radar on the what's causing heart disease conversation. This just in! It's weird that corporations would frame something to be healthy for you that's actually bad for you while telling you that the thing that's bad for you is good for you. I didn't know they would do that, but I'm sure they've stopped doing that. Now back to the investigative journalism. Specifically, the sugar industry funded Harvard scientists, always trust the science, to pin the heart disease tail on the donkey of saturated fat and meat. Then in 1967, they published their findings in the prestigious New England Journal of Medicine. That initiated the tidal wave that says saturated fat and the meat that it comes from is bad for your heart that swept over the world. That very scientific propaganda, most likely born before you, has certainly influenced how you think about food. And here's a fun fact for you. These very accurate studies that demonize fat led to butter being replaced by heart-healthy margarine, a plant-based butter alternative loaded with trans fats, later discovered to be the most destructive thing you can do to your heart. But I'm sure that what they're doing this time with plant-based alternatives is gonna work out much better. Don't eat that, eat this. It'll be good for you. It's safe and effective. We would never do what we've already done. Trust us. Accordingly, Beyond Meat's label proudly claims to have 35% less saturated fat than meat. So the chances that they're riding the wave of the same propaganda are only 100%. But what's in it? Well, because plants inherently sound safe because they'll never try to devour you in nature like a deadly animal would, we decided to look into the ingredients of Beyond Meat. With only 21 ingredients that go into making it, it sure looks like a healthy whole food to us. Furthermore, our investigative team's ability to read helped us identify that the second most abundant ingredient in it is canola oil. The ever-healthy canola oil has been shown to be linked to inflammation, heart disease, impaired memory, and strokes. Probably misinformation, because we can confidently say that this Beyond Meat ingredient is low in saturated fat. So if you view it through the lens of the fabricated studies by the sugar industry in the 1960s, it certainly does qualify as heart healthy, despite it being bad for your heart. And we're not ones to split hairs about this kind of thing. By contrast to the 21 processed ingredients in Beyond Meat, meat, on the other hand, only has one ingredient, meat, which certainly qualifies it as a processed food best to be avoided. And when we come back, we'll tell you who is a major figure in the push to get you eating fake meat. But first, a word from our sponsor. Did you know that if you breathe, you're contributing to the climate disaster? Selfishly breathing in oxygen means you're exhaling harmful carbon dioxide, and that spells climate-damaging, harmful carbon emissions. But now there's something you can do about it. From the makers of Beyond Meat, introducing Beyond Oxygen. Our oxygen substitute is an excellent alternative for oxygen. Believe it or not, Beyond Oxygen contains no actual oxygen, which means no more carbon emissions. It's just like the real thing.
I can hardly tell the difference.
Do your part to save the climate. Stop using oxygen and start using Beyond Oxygen today. Compelling stuff right there. And we're back with our special fake meat report. Who is it exactly that wants to control you so much that they get you to stop eating meat and start eating plant-based pretend meat? Well, in our investigative journalism about plant-based meat, we were pleasantly surprised to find out that Bill Gates is a major investor in Beyond Meat, as well as another plant-based meat company called Nature's Find. And in the latter company, we found it to be conveniently true that Al Gore is an investor as well. Based on what appears to be high levels of health and fitness, Bill seems to have just as many nutritional qualifications as he does medical qualifications. So we couldn't more adamantly recommend that you do with your health and nutrition what he says. Trust him. He pretends to be a doctor. But why should you listen to health authorities who have no vested interest in improving your health? Well, in case you have as short of a memory as a jellyfish or the President of the United States, let us remind you that the same people who aggressively pushed you to stay in your homes and to get jabs during the pandemic while continuing to try to scare you about climate change are also the same people wanting you to think meat is dangerous and pretend meat is good for you. So, because they've never been wrong about anything, they're also probably not wrong about this. And with obeying them, all that's at risk is your health. So you really have nothing to lose. They also openly say they want less people in the world, so it makes sense that their health advice to you would be geared around increasing your health and longevity so there will be more people in the world, just like they don't want. And don't worry about thinking about that too much, because instead of being at the top of the food chain, you should start enjoying fake meat so you can be right at the bottom of it, right where they want you to be. Plant-based meat. We recommend it. Beyond Meat. It used to be a plant, but now it identifies as meat. The same transgender ideology that's invading your mind is also now invading your food supply. We urge you to let it. You'll thank us for it if you're still alive. Good night! Hey, what's up, my freedom-loving friend? I want to let you know my 2023 Stay Free or Laugh Trying Comedy Tour kicks off next weekend in Phoenix, Arizona, followed by Appleton, Wisconsin, Naples, Florida, Oklahoma City, Spokane, Washington. More cities will be added. You can grab your tickets now only at awakenwithjp.com. See you soon. Always go towards the light, but luckily it turns out I'm not dying, I'm just biohacking, which means I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Bon Charge, and their amazing red light therapy devices. The red light I'm bathing in is coming from the Max, a full body panel, which I'm loving. What you may or may not know is red light therapy has become a staple in the biohacking world. Why? It's good for the skin, gives anti-aging effects, helps you recover faster from injuries and exercise, helps burn fat, and it stimulates your cells to help produce more energy. Those are the reasons why I love red light therapy. And Bon Charge makes it easy to bring red light therapy into your life. There's full body panels with the Max, the Super Max, the Demi, the Bullet, and the Mini. So no matter who you are, Bon Charge makes it easy and affordable to bring red light therapy and all of its benefits into your life. If you would like to start bringing your health and vitality up to a new level, then just go to bondcharge.com/JP. And while you're there, be sure to use the discount code JP to get 15% off. Enjoy.